Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So this game actually came out a couple years ago now, a year and a half, I guess, to be more specific, back in November of 2020, kind of during the dark age of the Nintendo Switch, if I were to kind of define that era. We weren't getting regular directs, we were getting the direct minis, which a lot of people really didn't like. I actually thought they were kind of okay. But yeah, it was the era of Nintendo just announcing games on Twitter and then them releasing like 3 months later. We had it happen with Paper Mario Color Splash, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. We had it happen kind of with Mario 3D All-Stars. There was a direct just shadow dropped one morning and then it came out like 3 weeks later. And same thing with this game right here. It was announced one morning in September and then it just kind of came out in November, and it was just a weird time to be a Nintendo Switch fan. It was also a weird time to be playing a game like this because the PS5 and Series X were coming out. I actually got both consoles on launch, so let me lay it out for you. There was a demo for this game released a few weeks before it came out. So I played the demo and I loved it. I really got into the demo and I was like super into it. In that time frame, the PS5 came out, and I don't really consider myself like a graphics snob or specifically in this situation a frame rate snob. However, so I played the demo like for like 5 hours. Like a lot of my playtime is actually in the demo. I grinded out the demo. Played the demo, loved it. PS5 came out. Was loving Spider-Man at 60 FPS 4K and all these games, Demon Souls and Astro Bot, fantastic games visually, and especially that frame rate once again. So then I went back to this, the week after, I think, or maybe 2 weeks after, and I couldn't do it, dude. I could not do it, and that kind of persisted for a little bit with the Switch for me. I would say from like mid 2020 to probably mid 2021, I was kind of out of it, man. I really was. And then Metroid Dread kind of saved me at the end of last year and kind of got me back into the fold. I recently, I'm catching up on some of the stuff I missed. Just picked this up, so I'm excited to play that. But yeah, I was kind of out of it. Not because these games are bad by any means necessarily, but like, I don't know. I just had this perception in my mind. I was like, man, frame rate though. I dropped this game, I never finished it, and I finally went back to it after playing the Fire Emblem 3 Hopes demo. And that's what this video was initially going to be. It was going to be a video of me gushing about that Fire Emblem 3 Hopes demo. I really enjoyed it. I like Warriors games. I like repetitive games like this. It's just fun to grind sometimes, the first Hyrule Warriors I played back in 2014 on Wii U, loved that game. Beat it, once again, Hyrule Warriors Legends on 3DS, beat it, loved it. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on Switch, beat it, loved it. Fire Emblem Warriors came out in 2017. I never played the 3DS version, but on Switch, I beat it, played the DLC. I love these games. Even like One Piece Pyro Warriors 3 and 4, I've beaten both of those games. They're really fun games. It's one of those things where you like Warriors or you don't, and that's completely fine. They are definitely an acquired taste, so to speak. They are repetitive by nature. That is the entire point. This game does not hit the mark for me, man. I don't know. Well, I guess I do know what the issue is, and we'll get to that, but it's just so disappointing because Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite Switch games, of course. I think everybody can say that for the most part. It's a great game with interesting characters, really nice visuals, but something about this game right here just missed the mark for me. So, obviously, it's your standard Warriors template, but in this case, so Koei Tecmo, of course, they do the Warriors games. They've kind of evolved them a lot in the past 5 years. So whereas the first Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors were very basic, kind of just fan service games, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Persona 5 Strikers, and now, 3 Hopes for 3 Houses, they are all very much tie-in games where it's really playing into just one specific game in that franchise. It's not trying to please everybody, of every fan of every game in that franchise, like Hyrule Warriors 1 was, or Fire Emblem Warriors was, even though it was basically just Awakening and Fates characters. They're really kind of honing in on one game and trying to make the most out of that one set of characters and that one map and that kind of thing, right? So I haven't played Persona 5 Strikers. I've heard they do that very well in that. I can tell you right now from the little bit of 3 Hopes I got to play through the demo, which actually was a lot because it was like a 5-hour demo. They're doing a great job there. And I can't say they do a bad job with Age of Calamity. A lot of people criticize the story and that they, well, spoiler alert, don't follow the canon plots of Breath of the Wild. I think that's fine. For a game like this, where you want to have fan service and as many characters as possible from Breath of the Wild, it makes sense. If you didn't do the, spoiler alert, if you didn't do the time travel thing, you couldn't have, Yunobo and Riju and Mipha and all these characters, or I guess Sidon, right? So Mipha was there. you kind of had to do time travel if you wanted to make a proper Breath of the Wild Warriors game, and that's fine. So the plot isn't my issue with this game. My issue, weirdly, as someone who eats up Warriors games, is the gameplay. There is something wrong fundamentally with the way they designed this game. So, if you don't know what Warriors is, you slash through hordes of hundreds, if not thousands of enemies, and you capture outposts. Normally an outpost has like a stronger enemy that you kind of like counter and dodge and stuff like that, and that's fine. This game, I think what it really comes down to for me, the thing that really ruined it, especially in the latter half of the game, and I haven't seen this happen in other Warriors games. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a while since I played one of the Nintendo Warriors games. You know, Fire Emblem Warriors was, what, 2017? I guess Definitive Edition of Hyrule Warriors was 2018, so I guess that would have been the last time I played a Warriors game. That was a Nintendo tie-in. The amount of freaking, like, bosses and mini-bosses they put in these levels is absurd, and it's just not fun. It's just not fun. You play these games to get the satisfaction of grinding through hundreds of enemies. That's not what Age of Calamity is. That's not what this game is. This game is a game where you fight an electric moblin and a Calamity Lionel, or whatever they call him, I forget, Malice, yeah, they use the word Malice a lot. You fight a Malice Lionel or a Malice Halnox or whatever over and over and over again, and that's not fun. Warriors games do not have good combat. That's not the point, but Age of Calamity seems to make you want to think it would, with the way they make you have these one-on-one fights over and over again, and it's just not fun. And especially, like I said, in that later half of the game where you start having to fight like all the blights again, all the of course the Ganon blights, like Thunder Blight, Ganon, and all that, Wind Blight, Fire Blight, and Lightning Blight, or whatever the hell it's called, Wind Blight. So you have to fight them over and over again. Like, there's literally it's a parody of itself at one point, which I guess to its credit is kind of funny. I think it's the second to the last mission. You fight a bunch of these like Malice characters, you know, like Malice, Moblin, and all that. And it's like, you know, there's like 5 of them. It takes a while. These things I was playing on normal difficulty, and you know, once again, these games are normally pretty easy. I don't know if I was just under-leveled or what, but like it was actually, I'm not gonna say it was hard, but it just took a lot of time to whittle down their health. You kill all 5 of them, and the freaking blood moon rises, and they all just respawn. The exact same enemies. Just do it again. Just do it again. And that's another thing with, I mean, this is an issue that goes greater to Warriors games as a whole. The missions are too long, especially, well, the main story missions. There's like the side stuff that's fine, and you know, you just do like a couple of little tasks, and it's like 15 minutes or whatever. The missions in this game for the story can be upwards of 40 minutes to an hour. At a certain point, that's not fun, and in other Warriors games, it is fun because, you know, you're just grinding through hundreds of enemies, man. It's just a good time you're cruising through. In this, you're just stalling. The game is just a big stall. You're just fighting the same bosses over and over, and that just is not fun. They try with these like more recent Warriors games to implement elements from that game. Of course, Three Houses, or Three Hopes, I should say, and Three Houses has the whole thing of like Garrick Mach, and you're building up your characters and going to school, and then you have the strategy elements of Fire, and they put a bigger focus on like ordering your characters to go to certain places. Age of Calamity has more Zelda-like elements. There will be times, very light Zelda elements, I should say, where like, oh, you have to like clear a path or something, you have to throw a bomb and get something to break, or, you know, that kind of thing. But then it has the Flurry Rush from Breath of the Wild, which I think, once again, I think they got a little bit too excited with that. I think they got a little overzealous with that one, which is, I think, is why they implemented so many of these enemies, these higher level enemies that take so long to kill, because they want you to use that Flurry Rush. And I'm sorry, that's not what Warriors is. It's not what Warriors is, guys. Of course, Flurry Rush is like the little parry where it slows down time and you get a bunch of hits in, and it kind of like damages the meter so you can stagger them, and do your big weak point attack and that whole thing. That's not fun in a Warriors game. I'm not playing Warriors to do perfect parries and stuff. That's not the point. That's not the appeal. And then, of course, they have like the Wizrobe rods, which they weirdly put a lot of focus on. You kill a Wizrobe, you get their magic or whatever, and you can use that as an attack. That's fine. And then we get to the stasis. So, or not the stasis specifically. Well, yeah, stasis, but like the Sheikah Slate runes, right? Fire Emblem Warriors works because those characters are already in a war setting. And obviously, yes, there was a war that happened pre-Breath of the Wild. Zelda is, at its core, a series about war, even though we don't normally see the war actually happening. The movesets in this game don't make sense. And that's fine. That is fine. Because it's a Warriors game, it is just a fun little goofy game. But having every character use the Sheikah Slate, I think is kind of dumb, personally. That's not how that works. That's not how that happened. Revali didn't use bombs. Yunobo didn't have bombs. I just dropped the game. It just doesn't really... Like I said, I'm fine with it being goofy.
but it feels like there wasn't enough here to make a full Warriors game just based off of this. Which is funny, because when they announced Three Hopes, I didn't really like Three Houses, I'll be honest. When they announced Three Hopes, I was like, oh, really, a Warriors game based on that? But, like, it works, dude. Especially because they're adding, I think they said they're adding every single character from that game as a playable character. Like, there's clearly enough there. With Hyrule Warriors, they had to, well, one, they had to do the plot stuff and, you know, kind of retcon a bunch of stuff, which is fine. That's fine. It's a different game, it's a different timeline, whatever. But then, yeah, they had to really do some Sakurai tinkering to make some of these movesets make sense, and they don't make sense, and that's fine, but I don't know, it's kind of lame. Appeal of Warriors games for me, okay, so like think of Hyrule Warriors 1, right? I think they added the King of Red Lions as DLC, the boat from Wind Waker. That's hilarious, because it's a boat, right? It's just a boat doing attacks with waves and stuff. That's hilarious. That's cool. In this game, you have every character using Sheikah runes and stuff, and it's just a little bit too much of the same for me. There are cool elements, you know, like Urbosa can charge lightning. Riju has like the little walrus that can ride around. That's fun. But I don't know, man. It's just overall, man. And I'm not saying the characters aren't varied to play. I mean, it's a Warriors game. You don't really expect that much variety. Like they do have variety in terms of like how they play, but like it's not. Warriors games are flashy fan service. It feels like they pulled a lot of this out of their asses, which I don't think is the point of a Warriors game. So, I will commend the game this. A lot of content. There is less content than the first Hyrule Warriors. However, as someone that likes 100%ing games, and I didn't 100% this, by the way. I just beat it, and I haven't even done the DLC yet. I don't know if I will, to be honest. The map system they've created with, I think, starting with this game and then moving forward, I think Persona 5 Strikers is the same, and then Three Hopes is definitely the same. The map having the main chapters and then all these little extra like outposts and things that you do is awesome. It is an absolute completionist wet dream. Just seeing the map and slowly whittling away all like the red icons or the yellow icons and making them blue, making them say complete. It is so satisfying to complete games like this. But that's about it. And going back to kind of turning this whole story up on its head, my initial issue with it was the frame rate. It doesn't run as badly as I thought it did when obviously I was high on the PS5. It still doesn't run good. I was talking to my friend Tony. I don't know what exactly happened here, so I played the Three Hopes demo. I was like, all right, this is awesome. Doesn't run great, but out of curiosity, I went and played Fire Emblem Warriors for a little bit, and that game runs at 60 FPS. So at some point, I guess Koei Tecmo changed the engine they use for the Warriors games. That was a mistake. Obviously, I mean, I guess I'm not a developer. I don't know, but like when you had a game from 2017, hell, a game from I don't know how well Hyrule Warriors ran on Wii U, but just saying Fire Emblem Warriors 2017. When you had a game that's 5 years old running better than the game that came out 5 years later, I guess it was 4 years later with Age of Calamity, that's kind of embarrassing, you know? Obviously, you know, it looks like Breath of the Wild, and that's cool, and they really did a good job nailing the aesthetic and all that, and the characters, and the cutscenes are cool. But overall, I think this game missed the mark, man. And it's just really disappointing because I love Hyrule Warriors 1. That's one of my most played Wii U games and all the content in there. And yeah, playing this was a bit of a letdown. So I know that's probably not the popular opinion. I'm not really sure what people think of this game. I assume people like this and more than the first game overall because they like the fan service. But for me, the fan service wasn't quite there enough. And yeah, I just wanted to make this video kind of talking about it. I am super, super excited for Three Hopes because I played the demo for 5 hours and I was adoring that game, so I cannot wait for that to come out on Friday. I played that and I was like, all right, I need to go clear this off the list before I have another Nintendo Warriors games to kind of chip away at. So there you guys have it. Just a random Tuesday review of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Let me know what you thought of the game down in the comments below if you have played it. Of course, still waiting on that Nintendo Direct, so whenever that happens, I'll be reacting to that. And of course, every Friday we have Nintendo Wrap here, so definitely slowing down with the uploads. Tuesdays and Fridays, I think, will be the going schedule here, as well as whatever little news videos I do in between. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace.